My next guest steps up on short notice to take on Alan Jouban at UFC Fight Night 90 on July 7th. Belal Muhammad is back on the program. Belal, how you doing?
Good, man. Good to be back, man. Happy to be back. How's it going?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and glad to have you back as well. And the last time you and I talked, you had just won the Titan FC title. Didn't really know what was going to happen next, and fast forward, and here we are. Talking about you being a member of the UFC roster. How long after winning the Titan FC title did you know that a UFC deal was going to happen?
I expected the UFC deal to happen anyway. I know I belonged there, so I was just honestly just waiting for the call. So, but I knew it would be within a month that I'll be getting a call. So
Did
I'm
you
glad
know?
it all worked out.
Well, I was going to say, did you know before the fight in Titan, or did this sort of all come together after the winning the title?
No, this all actually came together after winning the title. I figured if I would beat Steve Carl with a big name like that, I figured I would get a call. But yeah, they didn't say anything beforehand.
And I understand you were supposed to step up as a replacement just in case the fight fell through between Tarek Safdien and Rick Story, correct? That was at UFC Fight Night 88?
Yeah, they called me if I wanted to step up on that one, and I agreed. I thought that would have been a good fight for me to step up on.
Were you kind of nervous? Like, were you ready at that point? Like, if you had to step in, were you 100% good to go? Or was that something where you're just like, well, I got to do what they say?
No, like I'm always training no matter what, and that would have been like a perfect opportunity to get my name out there right away because Rick Story's a ranked guy, and I know he's coming off an injury and he hasn't trained. He hasn't fought in over like a year and a half, and I was coming off a fight and I didn't get no injuries during that fight, so I thought it would have been like a perfect opportunity for me to come in and just get my name in the rankings right away.
All right, take me back a little bit here. Where were you when you got the phone call that you found out you were in the UFC?
I was actually at the gym. Yeah, I was training. I was actually personally training some clients, and they ended up calling me and telling me I was in there.
Awesome. Who's the first person you told when you got the news?
My brother. My brother's been with me since the beginning. Been pushing me to work and grind, and I know it was big for him too to know that I got signed to the UFC.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Going back to that moment, do you remember, sort of the best sort of message, email, phone call that you got from whether it was a family member, a friend that kind of stood out as far as, someone congratulating you on getting the UFC contract?
Just my coach, Lewis Taylor. Just like all the hard work finally paid off. So like I said, we didn't have to go to no huge gyms or anything like that. We did it by ourselves. So I'm glad I could show him that we could do it by ourselves.
Now you're taking on Alan Jouban. Again, this was a fight that just sort of came together and kind of worked out in your favor. How do you think you match up against him?
I like the matchup a lot. He's a good, exciting striker. He likes to bang. So I think it'll be a good fight for the fans, and I think we can steal the show, honestly, from everybody on that card.
And you train with a lot of guys who have been in the UFC or are in the UFC. Did you talk to anyone about sort of UFC jitters? I know that's something that can happen. I mean, you fought on the big stage in Titan, but the UFC sort of a different animal in that regard.
Yeah, I'm not really the one to get nervous or anything when it comes to that type of thing, but like I've had like Anthony Pettis come up to me, yeah, I hope you're ready. It's gonna be a bigger crowd than normal, like over like 10,000 people and stuff like that. But he said you just gotta don't forget what you're doing there. Don't be like, oh, I'm in the UFC. I made it here. You gotta want to win. The point is to win in there, not just to get there.
And I was going to say, anyways, you always strike me as a guy who's pretty calm, cool, and collective when you go into your fights. Where does that come from? Is that just sort of your personality, or is that something you have to mentally prepare yourself to kind of get to that point?
It's more so like before when I was an amateur, like I would get super nervous before my fights, and I would go into my fight like super hyped up just because I feel like I had to get hyped up. And then my coach would always tell me, "You're only wasting energy and stuff like that, thinking about it. There's no point of wasting your energy. You want to put your energy into the fight." So after that, like after my last amateur fight, I felt like I was the most comfortable ever. That's why he was able to say I could go pro because he didn't want me to go pro unless I was 100% calm, cool, and collected in every fight I was going to be in.
Great. And you got a lot of teammates right now at Rufus Sport who are getting ready for fights. I know Cameron Olson's on that victory card, so is Mike Biggie Rhodes. They've got Woodley fighting on that Atlanta card. How nice is it right now to have guys that you're training with that are also competing on upcoming cards?
Yeah, it's really nice, man. It's perfect because, everybody's in the room grinding. And then you got great southpaws in there, too. Like Eric Koch is already back in the room after winning his fight quick. So he was out here helping me real quick. And then I got Gerald Merchar, who's always training. And then, like you said, Biggie, he's still willing to like switch stances, go southpaw against me because he fought Jouban before. So he's really helping me out a lot with that.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
stuff like that, yeah.
You have a full-time job. Have you been sort of scaling back the hours there and focusing more on training and in anticipation for this fight?
Yeah. I've been trying to do a lot more training now, and especially a lot more earlier because it's actually during the month of Ramadan, so I'm fasting now.
Oh,
Feel
that's
like I like
right.
to get my training in early too, just so I could use the energy from last night to wake up and get some work in.
How's it dealing with that? Have you had to deal with that before in your fight career as far as the Ramadan, sorry?
Yeah, I usually always train during it, but I never really had a fight during it. But like I told him, my brother and everything, he said if I could train on fumes and get really good work in on fumes when the fight comes and I'm on food, I'm gonna be good, a lot easier.
How does that affect your diet at all as far as what you're able to eat and things like that? Do you have to sort of eat a lot more on the off hours? Like how does that work?
Yeah, it's just getting carbs back in there because I'm not really a big weight cutter anyway, so I'm usually close to weight no matter what. So it's not like I have to eat salads or anything every time. So I'm getting good meals in at night and then rehydrating really good.
Now, obviously, you paid attention on Friday. I was seeing you there on social media to the Titan FC welterweight title fight, the vacant title that used to be yours against David Machad and Diego Lima. Did you have a winner in that fight? Because it was kind of controversial as far as who won that fight.
Yeah, and that was a really close fight, and I don't know. I think it could have went either way, but I think like Diego still like pushed it at the end a lot more, so I would give it to him.
Interesting. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I'm actually gonna have Lewis Taylor, Duke Rufus, and Daniel Wino in my corner.
Nice. Is this your first fight in Vegas?
Yeah, that's actually my first one in Vegas.
Right on. Does that add a bit more excitement to it? Along with it being your UFC debut.
Yeah, it's a big thing just because my first UFC fight I ever went to was in Vegas, and it was Frankie Edgar against Frankie Edgar against Gray Maynard, part two, where they tied, and then we actually we snuck down to the cage area before the fights even started, and like I was able to go into like the cage and like check out the cage beforehand. That was when I was still an amateur, so it was like cool that I'm actually making my debut there now.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I got to get a prediction for this one. July 7th, how do you see this one going down?
I see me getting my hand raised, man, and I see the crowd going crazy because I think it's gonna be a lot of action in this fight.
Great, I like it. All right, well, Bilal, I really appreciate you joining me here on the program as always. I just remind my audience where they can get a hold of you on social media and give any thank yous or shout outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks for the interview. Always fun having you. And shout out to all my sponsors and everybody that supports me. Shout out to my teams, Chicago Fight Team, Roop Sport, Midwest Training Center. Shout out to my brother, Big Hoos, and little brother, Belal Muhammad, and everybody out there that supports me.